So some are taking great joy in the fact that flags are supposed to be at half-staff on Inauguration Day. Oh, we're going to show that orange, man, by having the flags at half-staff on Inauguration Day. Yeah, the guy who's about to get sworn in is getting the last laugh with 76 million supporters and 300-plus electoral college votes. But you keep getting off to the idea of having the flags at half-staff for the day. Please enjoy that. Maybe you can bring back that girl that went viral when she went on her knees on Inauguration Day 2017, and she was like, no, like right as Trump was getting sworn in. Remember that girl? She's become a pretty good meme.
Yeah. I saw the GIF over and over again.
Oh, my gosh.
It looked like this sounded.
Yes. Yeah, oh, yeah. Yes. Just a little less testosterone than Alex Jones. Yes, that's exactly what she sounded like. It's a great meme. But with that, you are going to have the U.S. flag still at half-staff. Why? Well, because Joe Biden said that after Jimmy Carter died, flags must be at half-staff for 30 days. Now, this is not new. This has been going on for a long time. We'll get to that here coming up. Biden didn't necessarily do this to make sure the flag was at half-staff when Trump got inaugurated, but I'm sure it didn't hurt, right? I'm sure that Joe Biden took great joy in knowing that by declaring flags at half-staff for 30 days, that would overlap with Donald Trump's inauguration. So in Texas, Governor Greg Abbott ordered his state's flags to be flown at full staff for Donald Trump's inauguration. That is in direct defiance of Joe Biden's presidential order. And I hope that Mike Kehoe does this in Missouri. I'm not going to hold my breath on Laura Kelly, but I hope that Mike Kehoe does this. Because if nothing else, you do it for a day. If you want to put it back to half-staff on Tuesday of next week, I don't care, whatever. But this whole thing of 30 days for a flag at half-staff for a president dying, I don't care if it's a Republican or a Democrat. 30 days is ridiculous. I mean, Jimmy Carter dying is like 8 news cycles ago. The world's moving too fast. It's similar to the conversation we had last week on how we sit here for 2.5 months and wait for the new president to take office. This window is way too long. It should be 30 days from Election Day, swear in the new guy or gal, and just move on with the business of the country. 2.5 months sitting around is a joke. And 30 days for a flag at half-staff for a dead president is just way too long, John.
Halftime of the college national championship game.
Yeah. Well, that's a marathon, too.
There you go.
Oh, my goodness.
I get the day off. We'll make that a holiday.
Yeah.
Federal holiday.
So this goes all the way back to one of our own, Kansas's Dwight Eisenhower, Ike. So this comes, and I was reading this last night in an explanation from the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs. Dwight Eisenhower issued a proclamation in 1954 standardizing when to fly the U.S. flag at half-staff. And the article states here, the flag should fly at half-staff for 30 days at all federal buildings, grounds, and naval vessels throughout the United States and its territories and possessions after the death of the president or a former president. So this happened basically for every president since then. It's not something that Joe Biden just made up to tweak Donald Trump on Inauguration Day. But it's antiquated. It's not a knock on Ike. I mean, it was a nice thought in 1954. The world's a little bit different 70 years later. We don't need that. It's unnecessary. You want to do a week? I don't know. I'll give you a week. I would do maybe 24 hours after the guy dies. And then if you want to do it the day of his funeral services, fine. But why do we need 30 days for flags at half-staff? I mean, I've seen it around town, and I admit I kind of didn't realize why it was still going on. And then when I saw that Greg Abbott in Texas was defying these orders on Inauguration Day, I thought, here we go. And then I start doing my deep dive last night. It ties back to Ike in the 1950s, and it's like the world's changed. Okay, and while we can respect the office of the presidency, they're not a king. Okay, I mean, we can honor them, and we do honor them in a lot of ways when they die. They're not kings of this country. You honor them. You lay them to rest. You want to do half staff for a day on the day they die and the day of their service. That's fine. I even think the stock market shouldn't have been closed last Thursday. That was a joke. Close the stock market? I mean, I guess Jimmy Carter went out the way he came in, which is holding back the economy. But there's no freaking reason to be closing the stock market on the day Jimmy Carter's getting buried. Like, the economy's got to run. The guy that runs Quick Trip, he wasn't off on Jimmy Carter's day of service, was he?
I think that goes to your point about the world moving faster now.
Well, yes. It's very different.
Yeah.
913-408-7957. That is the text line and the studio line here on KCMO Talk Radio 95.7 FM. Pete, this also cuts into MLK Day. Of course, that's coming up on Monday, same day as Inauguration Day. No, that's a good point. I mean, no one should be thrilled by this. On the text line, Pete, how about flying flags half-staff for Joe Biden? I mean, I don't know, man. I want to fly that flag even higher now that he's heading out the door in a few days.
I think I'm the only one on the block. I have mine at half-staff, but I'm not sure, as I look at the 6 flags on my block, ironic number, that I'm not sure those people can bring theirs down. And that, of course, just applies to federal institutions in general. But it's etiquette. And so I have mine down at least.
Well, you're a good American, John.
That's right.
You know, holding down Grandview.
I'll put it back up, though, for the inauguration.
Yeah,
for
good.
Sure.
Yes.
Just for a day.
Yes, please.
I think that's right.
Reading here from this piece, 10 days for the vice president. That's the other folks who get half staff. 10 days for the VP. The Chief Justice or a retired Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court or the Speaker of the House of Representatives. And that's 10. Come on. You kidding me? 10 days? So we're going to get 10 days for Nancy Pelosi when she croaks? My gosh.
No.
That's what it says.
Yeah. No, I'm with you there. I mean, it should be a week for firefighters, police officers, local. Maybe a week. And I only say that because it takes sometimes people a week to realize, oh, hey, the flag's at half-staff.
Well, line of duty death?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry. Yeah. That's different than...
Those should be the ones with the lengthiest and the longest
I would be fine with that. No issue whatsoever. Somebody dies in the line of duty, that's well worth, half-staff. Someone who is Speaker of the House, fleecing the country? Nah, I'm good. What else do we have here? From death until burial for an associate justice of the Supreme Court, a member of the cabinet, a former VP, the president pro tem of the Senate, the majority leader of the Senate, the minority leader of the Senate, the majority leader of the House, or the minority leader of the House. Where's the janitor in this? He's the only guy getting left out here. He's getting screwed. These are like 10 roll. I mean, this is just, these people. My gosh, the level of self-importance. Holy cow, get over yourselves. Joe, go ahead. You're on KCMO in Leavenworth before the break. What's going on?
Hey, Pete, I love living in the world of hypotheticals and devil's advocate. Had Trump been assassinated in Pennsylvania, how long would it have taken for the liberal-led states to put their flags back up? So
would they have ever put him down?
Exactly. I'm just curious about those things. I always think about the world on, if the shoe's on the other foot. And it's just, it is what it is. But had he been assassinated, I'm wondering just how it would have been viewed and portrayed and everything like that.
I hadn't thought about that, Joe. It's an interesting one, and I think you're right. Now, I'm not saying this thing about the flag because it's Jimmy Carter. I mean, fill in the blank. George H.W. Bush, when he died in 2018, same thing. They did the 30-day deal. I mean, it's just ridiculous. To me, it's not left or right, but I understand what you're saying. That would have been at the forefront of the conversation. On the text line, 913-408-7957, Pete, the post office was also closed last week, and no one even noticed. Yeah, that's true.
Touché.
I got a card from my grandmother for Christmas. Showed up last week. It was postmarked December 18th. I kid you not. You got to love the post office, man. I mean, that's just bosh, yeah. And what's the argument for the post office? Yeah, where else are you going to send a letter for 60 cents? Well, you're lucky if it shows up within 30 days. Send a text or an email. My gosh. Yeah, that's a good point. Competency of the post office knows no bounds.